Alright, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Other Half Brewing Company, and they're headquartered in Brooklyn, New York, and this is their Forever Ever. So this is a double dry hopped IPA that is brewed with Mosaic, Cashmere, and Citra hops, then double dry hopped with Mosaic and Citra. Comes in at 4.7% alcohol by volume, 50 IBUs at the time of review, and this can is just under 5 weeks old. I'm going to give a huge thanks and shout out to Ty from Other Half Buffalo for this beer, so big thanks to him. Recently, I attended the Wayland Brewing Company's second annual Spring Food and Beer Festival, and fantastic fest. I'll be back next year if they have it again. Just had a great time. A lot of good breweries pouring there, including Other Half, and Ty from Other Half Buffalo brought a bunch of different cans, and after the event, he had some left over, and he sent me home with a mixed 4-pack of beer that included a can of this, a can of their triple dry hopped vapor rings, and 2 cans of lime snaps. I'm going to review all of them on the channel, and I'm starting with this one because, full disclosure, not only did I have this one at the festival, but I had it a couple times in the past, and this is essentially a double dry hopped hazy session IPA. That's what this beer is, and I always give it around a 4 out of 5, but I think I unjustly compare it to like the aforementioned Vapor Rings, which is an 8.4% Imperial Oak Cream IPA, which it's not fair. This is 4.7, that's 8.4. So today I'm going to review it on the merits of the beer, but also on a fresh palate, and I'm here for it. So huge thanks to Ty. I got to get down to Other Half Buffalo. In the past couple months, they actually opened up their new tap room where they serve food and stuff. Before, they were just like slinging beer. And Ty is such a good guy. He's at all of the festivals I go to, and he's just a good dude, plain and simple. So check out Other Half Buffalo, and if you go there and you see Ty, look for the mustache and tell him Joe from the Beer Patrol sent you. And if you do that, I think he throws you out of the premise. So anyway, we're going to crack this one open. Like I said, I've had this one numerous times before, and this is one of the few flagship beers that Other Half has. Yes, Other Half now has flagship year-round beers. This is one of them, and this is like their lower ABV session beer. So as far as like an IPA goes, so we're gonna pour it into the hashtag improper glass, where this is an Other Half rock glass. So I guess we'll just make this a long review. Funny story that when Other Half opened their first ever second location in East Bloomfield, New York, which now a lot of you know as Other Half Finger Lakes, they originally called it Other Half Rochester or Other Half Rock. And a lot of people were like, dude, you're in Bloomfield, New York. You're more in the Finger Lakes region than you are in Rochester. What are we doing here? They eventually changed the name to Other Half Finger Lakes, but this was one of the first glasses they ever sold there, because I got it like one of the first or 2 times that they were actually just selling beer before they actually opened, I believe, and they had like glasses. So I think it's awesome. I don't use it enough as I spill beer everywhere, because if you watch my channel, you know I suck at pouring beer. We're going to try to get a decent head out of this, and I'm going to get a paper towel because I just don't know what I'm doing most of the time. Just a little bit of a spillage. Not a big spillage. Anyway, that's a very light hazy beer, but you expect that. It's 4.7, 50 IBUs. I'm not expecting some kind of crazy shit here. You know what I mean? Just how it is. Anyway, how does this beer look? Well, it looks beautiful in the hashtag non-proper glassware. I'm pretty sure they don't sell these glasses anymore, because it probably says Other Half FLX or Other Half Finger Lakes. But in the Other Half rock glass, it looks fucking vibrant. On camera, it actually looks a little bit lighter than it does in person, which is a rarity. But yeah, it has that beautiful like light golden straw color, very hazy looking. Finger of, well, we'll say like 3/4 of a finger of a super creamy, straight up white colored head. Very murky, very turbid. The turbidity through the roof with Dr. Roth there sometime. Maybe I'm not Dr. Roth. And just so you know where Other Half is in the Bloomfield, there you go. There's the location. Definitely not Rochester. Anyway, let's get a nose. Oh man, that smells real good. So I'm not going to bullshit you, because I don't do that. You get honest reviews here. I did read the description a couple times before for this beer. It says, massively double dry hopped, low ABV crusher with notes of peach tea, citrus, passion fruit, and mango. I'll tell you right now, 100%. I'm getting that passion fruit. I love passion fruit. I don't eat it that often because it's kind of like, to me, like an intense, tart / sour fruit that I got to be in the mood for it. But it's fantastic. When I crave it, it's great. This smells like passion fruit juice. Have I ever had passion fruit juice? To be honest with you, I've had I think there was a passion fruit hybrid juice I had before. Never had straight on passion fruit juice. But it smells like passion fruit juice, I assume. Passion fruit, guava, lychee, tropical exotic fruits. Very, very tropical. They're talking about peach tea, I guess. I don't really get tea in here, but I could see peach, apricots, some kind of stone fruit. Mango for sure. I'm getting pineapple. Definite pineapple. Maybe even like a little bit of like a honeydew melon rind. You know what? I always, again, it's unfair to compare this to a lot of the other half beers that I have. Like most of the other half beers I'm having are like at least 6.5% or at least 6%. Like my favorite lower ABV from them, Citra Daydream, I think it's 6%. This is 4.7, so it's still not even comparable to that. This smells awesome for something sub 5%. Like it has that intensity of a IPA into like a low double IPA, like a 7.5%, 8% double IPA. It's not super like over the top complex, but exotic tropical, little bit of citrus, honeydew melon rind, and a very slight like herbaceous floral character. Dude, smells really good. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Ty. I'm going to be coming to Other Half Buffalo and do an on-location video sometime before the year 2028. Cheers. You know what? I was going to say it before. Dude, this fucking... How have I not, A, reviewed this one before, and B, why didn't I think more of this before? Let me tell you what's happening. The first time I ever distinctly remember having a beer brewed with cashmere, and I was going to mention that in this review because that's a weird, like, Mosaic, Citra, cashmere. Cashmere used here and there in some hazies. First time I ever had cashmere was at the Voodoo Brewing Company and their location in Erie, Pennsylvania. And it was an all cashmere hopped beer. And it tasted to me like straight on coconut. And I love coconut. If you guys know me, you know I love Sabro hops or Sabro hops. I don't see that many breweries kicking out Sabro hops. I love anything coconut. And I always get that out of Sabro. But the first time I had cashmere at the Erie, I want to say it was like 2018, 2019. I remember, maybe even 2017, I remember distinctly tasting coconut. That's what I'm getting in this. Doesn't mention coconut in the tasting notes, but I'm getting it. Mine in this one, I'd say lower side of medium, approaching medium. It's 4.7%. I'm actually nice there. That's actually nice for what it is. I'm fine with it. The mouthfeel is not as luscious as an Other Half beer typically is. Moderately carbonated. It's a little bit smooth, a touch creamy, but it's not anything to write home about as far as the mouthfeel is concerned. The body is impressive, though, for 4.7. The taste, to me, yeah, baby, it's coconut. So right in front, I get tip of the tongue, zesty, pithy, orange, a little bit of grapefruit. Not super juicy and sweet, more like pithy, rindy. A little bit of juiciness. Passes through, touch of that stone fruit they're talking about, or I guess mango specifically, and like peach. I'm getting more of like an apricot or a mango. And then halfway through the palate, 2/3 way through the palate, it's coconut mixed with passion fruit, lychee, guava, some kind of tropical. I'm not saying all those fruits. I'm just saying like something in that realm of an exotic tropical fruit. That honeydew melon rind didn't carry over, but what replaced it was that coconut. And it's more like a fresh coconut. It's not a toasted coconut. It's a fresh coconut. I would say pina colada if I was getting pineapple, but I'm not, so I'm just going with the coconut. Glass lacing, of course, is pretty great. So one more sip and talk a little bit more about it and give it a rating. It has a beautiful, more in the taste now, more of like a slightly herbaceous, like grassy finish to me. Very dry. Wouldn't say bone dry, but it's firmly dry, almost bone dry. Mild bitterness here, more dry than bitter. Maybe mild to moderate bitterness, maybe a little bit more bitterness than I'm giving it credit for. This isn't a sweet beer, which is nice. So if you want something to session, good balance, I'd say this leans like, this is like 50-50, honestly, sweetness to like dryness and bitterness. It's decently sweet up front, but dries out with a little bit of bitterness on the back end. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because it's hard to explain to you guys out there who maybe don't do things like this. Post in the comment section if you do. Let's say you don't review beers on YouTube like I do, And do you sit down and like pick apart a beer like this at times? You're just like, hey, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to think about it. Some people I've had in the past that follow the channel were like, write notes, I know, or uber nerds, I get it, but the fuck, I'm reviewing beer on YouTube. Am I an uber nerd? Yes. But before I had a beer tubing channel, I would watch other beer tubers and compare like my tasting notes to them and whatnot and like kind of figure out what I'm tasting. Now that I'm doing this, because every other time I've had this, I hasn't been in this kind of environment, right? This isn't the atmosphere. This is way better than I give it credit for. I usually give this around a 4. Definitely gonna get higher than that today. I don't remember that toasted or not non-toasted, fresh coconut vibe. And I don't remember it having the body that it does. And I also don't remember it just having the complexity for something that's sub 5%. So I'm really happy Ty gave me a can of this because I don't know if I would have picked this one up to review just because it's a year-round flagship beer from them. A lot of you have had it out there. I don't know if I would just pick this up on my own, but I'm so happy he did because I'm going to rebuy this going forward when I want a lower ABV, hazy, double dry hop session IPA that has a nice coconut flavor that's coming from, I'm assuming, the Cashmere, and it's pretty good. So one more sip and we'll lock in a rating. Yeah, so pour the rest of it in here. I'm going to give Forever Ever from Other Half. And everything's double dry hop. They used to have so many different versions of their beers where it'd be like, Forever Ever. Now this is the double dry hop. Here's a triple dry hop. Like everything from them is pretty much double dry hop at this point. So anyway, I'm going to give this beer right here. I'm going to give this a, fuck man. I'm going to go straight 4.25 out of 5. I think this is definitely a quarter point better than what I gave it before. And one of the better session pale ales / IPAs, whatever you want to call it, that I've had in quite a while. Really good. Price point availability, $16 a 4-pack if you buy it on their website or at any of the breweries. So $4 a can is a bit pricey for a 4.7 beer, 4.7% beer. Yeah, it is. But if I was in the mood for this, I have no issues buying that whatsoever. And again, Ty gave it to me, but I definitely can see myself for buying this one going forward. And availability, like I said, flagship beer from Other Half. I think they have like 4 or 5. I know they have, I think, All Citra Everything. This, is it Green Flowers is the West Coast one. I think they have 2 other ones. But for a flagship year-round offering from them, I like this as far as a session goes. And again, you should be able to find it. They ship to I think like 32 different states now on their website. And on top of that, they have so many different locations. If you get Other Half stuff or you can get your hands on Other Half stuff, you should be able to get this one. And I'm sure a lot of you out there have had this one before. So if you have, post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about 4.7%. You can't taste it. Yeah, I'm really happy with this one. Again, not my favorite Other Half or anything. I'm not going to bullshit you here, but this might be my favorite lower ABV beer from them. One of them anyway. Citra Daydream still at the top of the totem pole, but it is 6%. Is that technically lower ABV? I don't know. You tell me. If you make it to the end, tell me. Do you think Citra Daydream at 6% is technically a low ABV beer? We'll see who watches the end. Anyway, thanks again to Ty. I'm reviewing this one today, whenever I'm reviewing it. I don't know what day today is, but whenever you see it, I think I'm going to review that triple dry hop Vapor Rings later in the day because it's only 4.7%. I can have another one. So you're going to see them a couple weeks apart, but I'm going to review them in both in the same day. You're going to see the same shirt, same hat, everything. So don't worry. I'm going to be okay. Anyway, thanks, Ty. Thanks, everybody. To the next one. Cheers.